He shoot her! Go now! Hold on! He shoot her! He shoot! He shoot! He shoot her! He shoot her! The Nigerian police force has come in for intense criticism in recent times after 36-year-old Kolade Johnson was killed by a bullet from the gun of Inspector Ogunyemi Olalekan on March 31, 2019. Johnson, who had only just returned from South Africa, was watching a Premiership football game in his Lagos neighborhood on the day the police bullet cut short his life. Inspector Olalekan, who was dismissed from the police force after an orderly room trial, confessed that he only shot into the air once and that he had no idea that the police bullet was going to catch Johnson.
We had a distress call that we should move to Mangrove. So on getting there, we saw some group of guys smoking in their aim. We called their cultist. So we effect an arrest there. So suddenly they mob us, me and my boys. They mob us there. So in terms of escaping them all around, so I fired up. So I didn't know how he got to meet the boy in question. That was shot dead. I don't know. But I only fired one up.
Aside extrajudicial killings and human rights violations, the men and women of the Nigeria police force have often been accused of extorting motorists and harassing young men who sport dreadlocks and other fancy hairstyles.
My name is Irene Jefferson Olajume. I work with GIG Logistics as a customer service specialist. And this ordeal with the police happened on 23rd of March. It was my friend's birthday. And then we had drinks, definitely. It's a birthday party. And I, for one, I don't leave my drinks unattended to. So one of my friends wanted to leave, and then we had packed stops for her to go. And then me and my other friend, who happens to be a banker, so we're just going home, and then we're at the bus stop, and then I was with my cop, and then there was slight traffic, and then the next thing, guys just came out from a downfall bus, and then they were harassing me, like, why am I drinking on the road? And I was like, I'm not drinking on the road. I came to see my friend off. You can see that. And the next thing, they tasered me. And I was like, who are these people? I want to, like, how do I look like this? Like, who are you people? Let me even know who you guys are. And then they told me I'm resisting arrest. And they started to hit me, and they started to beat me.
The Police Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, has also come in for intense criticism and flack for profiling young men and tagging them internet fraudsters.
No, these are just elements that further proves the decadence, in the system. It shows how decrepit the system is. It shows how evil the system has become, based on lack of purpose, based on listlessness, based on lack of monitoring, lack of transparency, lack of accountability, and neglect. So the police has been, there's a huge obsolescence, or political obsolescence, if you like, or functional obsolescence, if you like, within the system that has made them lose the self-actualization within the system. Even if you pay the police officers ₦1 billion each now, they are still going to abuse the right of citizenry, because they don't have, the police is not a place where people make money. Police is not a place where people who are looking for jobs seek job opportunities. It is a place for patriotic citizens who want to serve their nation. So based on this, you are not looking for people who want to come and earn. You are looking for people who see themselves as stakeholders in nation-building dialogue. People who want to contribute to the progress of Nigeria with their own service. People who want to see themselves advance career-wise within the system. But again, when you look at this structure of the system itself, is the future of any police officer guaranteed? It is not. Promotion from 2010 down to today, from 2015 down to today, if you look at the police promotions, it is haphazard. You will weep. because people were promoted based on who they know and not based on meritocracy. People were promoted based on their association or alignment with politicians, not because of their service. So you have people, you have square pegs in round holes within the police system, where people who have been serving for many years have not been promoted for many years. And they have people who they train themselves being their bosses.
Lagos Police Spokesperson DSP Bala Elkana admits that the police badly needs reforms and adds that bad police officers are being dealt with internally.
Let me start with Kolade Johnson, because that was the first one that we experienced here in Lagos when we came on board. It was a horrible situation. The killing was something that nobody's happy with. The commander, the CP, personally condemned it, and he took practical steps to show that that act is unacceptable. Kolade Johnson was killed in an unprofessional manner by a police officer who is supposed to protect him, who is supposed to protect lives and property. And we took step by first identifying the team that did that, because at first when the rumor fly, we never even know which team carried out that act, because when it happened, they fled the scene. But we were able to track down the team, identify them belonging to anti-cultism units. We brought them under detention, subject them to to our internal disciplinary mechanism, which we call orderly room trials. At the end of the trial, he was found wanting of of professional misconduct and abuse of powers. He was dismissed from service. We arraigned him in court. He's at Kirikiri prison right now. The trial is ongoing. So that on its own we show clear demonstration that we don't condone things like that, because in the first place, we are paid to protect the lives and properties of people. We are also paid to uphold the right of the people.
He says it is also wrong for police officers to arrest young men sporting dreadlocks and profiling them as Yahoo boys, a moniker for internet fraudsters. Elkana says no young person should be victimized by the police because of how they look.
The general complaints we have received from members of the public: young men out there being harassed by police officers who are supposed to protect them simply because of the way they look, not because they are guilty of a crime, simply because you are wearing dreadlock, or you are carrying tattoo, or even you are dressed in a particular manner. They subject them to some hardship and embarrassment on the roads, and we said no, this is also unacceptable. It may be true that suspects that you have arrested in the past that have to do with cultism maybe have some dreadlocks and tattoo, but that does not show that means that anybody out there with dreadlock and tattoo is a cultist.
That's how you can see somebody. You cannot just see somebody and tag the person a cultist. Has he exhibited cultist behavior? Is he walking in droves? Are they looking aggressive? You cannot just see a girl on the road, and then you pick the guy and then tell the girl to come to the police station and bring money. That's robbery.
We discovered the teams that are responsible, mostly the anti-cultism units, because their role is to look at how we can combat the menace of cultism that is rising in the states. That was why they were created. Cultism became a concern because most of the heinous crime that we are carried out in Lagos in the past few months, we are carried out by members of different cult groups.
We need a law, we need a system, we need a legislation that can fix the problem once and for all. Because putting protocols in place that will be repealed by a new IG that comes in is not sustainable. We have already seen how many people have died. About 5 people have died since January, since the IGP repealed the protocol that was put in place by his predecessor. So we don't want protocols upon protocols upon protocols. Every IG that comes in creates its own tactical squad. We have STS, we have SOS, we have SARS, we have SACS, we have special anti-kidnapping, anti-cultism, anti-this and that. And these anti groups have become the same demon that they were created to fight.
The federal government of Nigeria insists that it is serious about reforming the police, and President Muhammadu Buhari recently received the report of a special panel on police reforms which he set up. But stories of police brutality and extortion continue to dominate the news headlines every other day. For the average Nigerian, the fear of the police has become the beginning of wisdom. Mr. Elkana says police extortion has nothing to do with the take-home pay of men of the force.
Is police the least paid organization in Nigeria? Before you join, you know how much they are paying the police. You have seen other places before you join, and if you think they are not paying well, then you can change or go somewhere else. Nobody is saying you must stay. But by the time you choose to be in an organization, then you are very much familiar with the condition of service of that organization. It's not a yardstick. Let me tell you, those people with that mindset, even if you pay them ₦1 billion, they will still be who they are, because it is their life. Somebody who is even paid just ₦1 and he's contented with ₦1 and he has no criminal tendency, put him anywhere, he will still be fine. Every single policeman out there should go into crime. All of us should go into crime because we don't have enough pay. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. They just choose to be who they are. They just choose to be against the law. That is just all.
Segun Awoshanya, an activist, says the police have no choice but to reform itself and become the police force of the people.
The police are not saddled with the responsibility of reforming themselves. That is not the charge before them. The charge before them is to embrace the police reform advocacy and to have ownership in that struggle, because it is also helping them as well. Because police cannot picket, police cannot protest, police cannot riot. It is a regimented environment. They need to express themselves. We need to be able to figure out. Organizations, civil societies have to look into the system and see the things that are not working, and then help them voice it out so that we can fix their problem to fix our own problem.
Some few elements have already spoiled some good part of what we are doing. You will do 10 good things, fine, then one person will go and do one stupid thing. People don't look at the 10 anymore. They focus on the 1. And that 1 alone will rubbish the whole 10. But that will not deter us. That will not discourage us, though sometimes it looks quite discouraging. To me, police is not just your friend, but your dependable friend and helper. I don't want to just limit myself thinking that I'm your friend only. I want to be your dependable friend. I also want to be your helper. I see my role as a service provider. I see myself as somebody providing service to the people. And if I must provide service to you, then I must provide the service in a satisfactory manner. That is the way I'm looking at myself.
Meanwhile, the rest of the nation just cannot wait for when the police becomes a friend, like a really true friend.